Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Batesy. Good morning, Maria, Grant, Matt King, Sarah, Emerson, Emily. Good morning. Cameras on, please. When you're coming on and on mute. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, as we come in. Cameras on and on mute, please. Good morning, David Gray.
Hey, this is Dave from $1 Million Listing, LA.
Oh,
how are you all?
Coming to us from the set of Selling Sunsets.
Very kind to have me.
Very good.
So yeah, I've had an amazing few days, Jakey. So Jason, whatever his name is, from Selling Sunset, we're lucky enough to go into his brand new office. I've got some photos. Can't send them through yet because they're about to go live with a big magazine shoot. So we have to keep them confidential.
And they trusted you with that?
All of us. So we saw Jason, some amazing talks by Josh Vegan, some amazing stuff by Peter Knight, who's worked with Josh Vegan for 15 years, probably UK's finest real estate trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And then got to meet Sherelle from Selling Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And then today we've just spent time with Josh and that, and also we've been to Paramount, we've been to the Grammar Museum, and then Matthew Lunn, who was the guy behind Toy Story and Nemo and Monster Inc. and all those. So the last 3 days have been probably the most inspirational sort of real estate training I've had. So really incredible.
Most of the guys are on. So why don't you tell us where you've been for obviously the last few days, DG? What was this around?
So basically it had a Hollywood theme to it. So the first theme, and I think what was really great, is that we get a lot of noise about disruption. We get a lot of noise about technology, things changing, all these different bits of tech or whatever. But if you look at the test of time, Jake, Hollywood still does one thing, no matter what's happened, and it's still there to entertain. Some could say maybe it's there to teach occasionally, but at the end of the day, Hollywood for over 100 years has been there to entertain. And no matter what's happened with Netflix, technology changes, the show still goes on. So I think it's a really good take home for real estate. At the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. You know what I mean? We're here to sell real estate. We're in the business of real estate, and we have all this other noise, but we've really got to remember what we're doing and what our core purpose is. So I thought that was probably the best thing that we had. I think what they did was show us. So the first lesson was around that is that forget about the noise sometimes and get back to what we do. You can hear me pretty clear, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, so that's the first thing about noise, and just realizing getting back to purpose. And I think purpose is not just about selling real estate, but I think individually is all of us acting in our business, that we've got a core purpose to why we do it, and I think we need to get back to that. The next big lesson, which I think was really good, and Josh Vegan was talking about performance zone. So I'm going to go through these quickly today, but over the next couple of months, I'm really going to be breaking these things down in the office. But performance zone is, when we're at our best. And I think we've all had those glory month or two where we're absolutely our best in our performance zone. But what we also need to do is make sure we get in our recovery zone. And I think sometimes when we get in that work mode, we forget about that recovery zone. So that's really around our Sundays. That's really around our holidays. And, if you look at all the peak performers that I know, your Alex Phillips and all those guys, and, a lot of the girls, Delene Lewis and that, they work hard, and then they have that break. And this is what I'm guilty of around my recovery time. But if we don't get into our recovery time, then we'll go into burnt out mode. And so we've got to look at that. So have a sort of look at that, guys. Are you at your peak performance? And then if not, what are you doing to look after your capacity and your recovery? I think the next big thing that we got out of this, and which is what I'm really excited about, is that if we look at real estate, we had the salesperson, back in the 90s, 80s, even maybe into the 2000s. Well, 2000s started to change, but it was really about that, that salesperson. It was really about a salesperson. And then from that, I think we've moved a little bit into a little bit of personal, the personal agent. And I think now what we're really going to get to is the Showtime, the Showtime agent. And I think, if you look at Jason and these other people, and I'm not talking about ego, but I'm talking about that everything is an absolute show. How you present yourself, how you hold yourself, how your opens are. I think, what you represent is the new thing. It's not just going to be about personal brand or showing that you got a fancy car or business class tickets. It's about what's that your personal brand on steroids, but making sure that you're not back into ego. And we spent a lot of time looking at Jason from Selling Sunset. Now, he's about 70% of his business is him. Where the other lady was about 25% of her business. So it's also about making a business that, even though you want to build, your Showtime, I'm going to talk about experience in a sec, but that's a second, but that word is to make sure that you bring it back to where you're building up the people around you.
Okay.
And then the biggest thing is, obviously, we're in America. The service is amazing. We went to 2 of the best restaurants down in Beverly Hills. And even the guys, all the little things we had, like this, like if you see, like that was at all our desks when we got there. Can you see that, Jakey?
Yeah.
Dave Gray, Hollywood of Fame, presented by Blue Sky. Everything was about an experience. And the one thing that I really want to bring back, into the business is what's the experience like? And we talk about it at a leadership level, but what's the experience like working with Lifestyle Group? What's the experience like with our team workers? What's our experience like with our public? What's our experience like with our buyers? What's the experience if a friend, if there's a tenant out the front, what do we do around the tenant? How are we actually treating our trades? What is the experience of dealing with Jake Carter? And is it consistent? Is it great? Is it fantastic? Is it rewarding? Do I want to compliment him? Do I want to refer him? And really looking at the experience. And I think, especially our after client experience, I keep bringing back to the car, but, the car industry's got it right when you buy a car, don't they? They make a big deal of it. Now, how many people are, keys out the front? I really think our first open, we can start doing some, some things on that, some little dinners and things like that. But looking at how can we have a bit more of a Showtime, and I'm not talking ego. Be careful about Showtime and ego. It's not about that. But how can we put what we're doing on display in a good way and a professional way and a classy way? But really what we wanted to be doing is highlight the property. Like, it might be about, we might do something showy, but it's about the property. And even if you're looking at something, we had one of the directors for the cast or the reality TV people talk. And no matter what, it's the visual. Yeah. So it's the Showtime of the visual.
Yeah.
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 And then the last thing that we really worked on was around team, and really highlighting and working as a team and the power of the team.
Okay. And they're very big. I mean, real estate agents over in the US is all about the team, right?
All about the team, yeah. And it's really around buyers. And what I think out of the American model, and we don't get paid around the same, but are really around, if Batesy's got a listing in Brendan's area, like, what's Brendan doing with his buyers to make sure that he's getting, we do so much work to get this listing, and I just don't think we milk a listing as good as we could. So they're the main things. I've just got my notes here. I'm just going to go through some things as I read them down. But some things I really want to be looking at in the business is like demographics, the aging population. It's huge. And even from a politics point of view, a lot of the people that are going to be voting soon won't even be in the workplace. So what we're doing around education about helping people move. I think a lot of people, and I know my grandfather didn't move because he in the right time, and then he got too old to move. But looking around what education pieces we can do, and, as if you're dealing with a 60 or 70-year-old client, what we can do to actually make people in the public feel more comfortable with us to help them on that move. So maybe we have nights where we've got retirement villages, we've got over 55 villages and us speaking, and then someone speaking about reverse mortgages. not as a hard sell, but just as an information night to show that, if you're over, once you get into 50, like where, so like Batesy and Bluesy could come on, take a seat and sit them up the front, that we can actually start helping people on those moves. And I know for Dad, when he went through the retirement, like even though he had money, it was a very scary time. Mate, we're going to go from the G7 to the E7. I think at 2050, the only economy in the G7 right now that's still going to be in there is America. So, that Asian and Indian influence, I know where we are, it's not as huge as what it could be, but, that's really going to grow. Environmental, if you're looking at the UK, they're really pushing a lot of stuff around the environment, around properties. I've got that, Larissa. I met the owner of Rex Database. He was a great guy. He's going to introduce me to the CSRO. They're doing some interesting stuff, and I'd like us to be market leaders around, because in England, in the next couple of years, people are going to have to spend a fortune getting their properties ready. Otherwise, they won't be able to rent them.
Yeah.
So I want to get ahead of the game. Some cool marketing ideas that I won't do, like doing the whole of Port Macquarie garage sale and looking at doing big things like that. What we could promote in that, some areas in that. That concierge department we've talked about, within 12 months, I really want to launch that property. I think Jason made a lot of points around how we present that property for sale. And I think, like if I look at, say, like say Dan had a big listing, and he goes, "Oh, look, this is great. I can see it, but you're in the canals and it's 2.5 mil. Look, I really want to bring my director around and he's going to give you some advice on exactly what you could do to this property. And we're going to bring an interior designer. Imagine, the difference we can do by helping them maybe fund it, advise them, and also get their property styled. I think that could make a big difference. And I would like us to start training on us all having the ability to have conversations with owners around presentation of their properties. Because if properties are presented better, one, I think we get a better result. Two, they're easier to sell. Yeah, and it's more enjoyable. And getting comfortable that you've got enough, that you're not just trying to get it listed because you got nothing else, that we're doing the right thing by the vendor. And if you, especially if you watch any of those $1 million listing shows, they do spend a bit of effort getting them ready. And I know likes of Gavin Rubenstein, I know Alex Phillips, but it's becoming a bit of a Sydney thing. And if we can get ahead of our game, so I've got some ideas around getting that ready. Not out of ego, but I've got a lot of confidence, guys, where we're going with Lifestyle Group. What we're doing, we've got sketches for the fit out, for what we want to do for the offices, the offerings, that real estate one-stop shop, that talk is right around the globe. That's not just a Dave Gray coming to Port Macquarie with a bit of an idea. I've got absolute confidence that around building this extra business Lifestyle Group and then building that. Agent marketing, and this is one thing that I want to talk to you guys, and maybe it's a little bit of a negative thing, but I want you to see it as a positive. Both, especially Jake and I talk about it. We fully 120% want you guys to have your own brand. 150% want you to be marketable. 160% want you to be that good that our competitors are talking to you and trying to, we want to treat you good enough that you won't go. So this is not out of fear, but if you look at these big brands overseas that are killing it, they do make sure there's a uniformity between all agents. So we need personal brand, but while we're under the Lifestyle Group BAS, we need to be talking as a family. Be your own star, but work together. And I don't know how that exactly looks, and this is not out of fear, but more abundance. We need to get back onto that. We can look at these Jasons and these people on TV shows. Like, I watched him after he finished. The grind that these people have, second to none. If you guys have a look at my socials, that guy that he spoke for 25 people. He's this, director of Pixar, and he drew a cartoon character on everyone's book, and everyone was allowed to ask him a personal question. Like, how above? Like, that's Pixar. He worked personally with fucking Steve Jobs. You know what I mean? And he said, a bit like what we're trying to create, the culture there is that Steve Jobs gave everyone flexibility to build and create. But, to give that time, you can see why the best are the best, like you can think it's ego, you can think it's show, you can think it's luck, but these people grind and they just give more. They just give more. And that comes back to that Showtime agent that I'm talking to you, not in like ego, but just in being more, doing more and that. So, yeah, so just so much stuff, which, I'm talking high level. I'm going to be breaking this down in a lot more. I think we're getting a lot of teams in our business, and I've been talking to our leadership team around this, and I think we've got amazing leadership in our business, but I think our management side, which I think I always had a negative connotation, but I think manage, develop, and lead, I think we're trying to develop and lead, but I think managing, we need to come back to that and help the team with some support structure there. Are you still with me? Still with me?
Yep, I've got you.
The value of data, all your personal databases, and just really respecting that and seeing how that's growing and how we're treating that. I'm really keen to come back and have some good conversations with everyone around that. What else have we got? Storytelling, your listing presentation. I think we're saying the wrong word. When I say the word presentation, to me, I feel like I'm talking at you. I'm presenting at you. I'm trying to sell it to you. But if I said to Jake, "Oh, Jake, I want to take you on a journey, or I want you to tell you a story," do you get a different reaction? So in our listing presentation, and what was really quite interesting, like every story, yeah. Has anyone watched a movie where the whole time it's all good?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
How many but are all good the whole way through?
Only a few.
Yeah, but most have a goal.
Yeah.
Most have a beginning and end and a finish.
Yeah.
And most have an obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that most take you on a roller coaster?
Yes.
Yeah. So I forget the three things, but you got dopamine and then two different other types. Endorphins, and then there's one other. The
Adrenaline.
negative.
It's
No, there's one that's the negative. It's C. Starts with C, I think. But in your listing presentation, are you just talking at them?
Serotonin.
Serotonin.
No. Serotonin's when you get asleep. It's the one you
Cortisol.
feel when you got fear or you're scared. But thank you. So what it basically is in your listing presentation, do you have a beginning and end and a finale, or is it just at one level? Are you just presenting? Do you take people on that journey? Do you at some stage tell a story? You there, Jake? Am I frozen?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, or you taking them on a journey where, look, Jake, I know I'm talking about, marketing, the importance of marketing, but can I stop and tell you for a second about a story? Now, 6 months ago, I was talking to a client, and I got a little bit busy, Jake, and I didn't follow a client up, and I don't think that they actually understood the importance of marketing as much as I got across. Anyway, they listed with one of our competitors. They sold it off market. All right. Now they thought they did the right thing because they saved $3,000 in marketing and they thought they won. But do you know what happened 6 weeks later?
What?
The neighbor next door sold for $80,000 more after a 3-week marketing campaign. So the good news is that it was David Plews from our office that actually listed that property. Now, the great news is that David had the time to speak to them about marketing, went right through it. Now, we launched that with an REA and a domain, a Max Awesome. So we made sure we got as much inquiry as possible. All right. Now, it didn't go to auction, unfortunately. But what it did do is it sold for $30,000 more than even the owner wanted. $80,000 more than what the neighbor. See the different journey we've just gone on?
Yeah.
So your listing presentations, what are your stories like? And when I think about it, and I think sometimes when I get upset at different things I do, I think, wow, like me as a leader, I'm always telling stories. Now, some I shouldn't tell, some I should tell. But like, I'm just thinking, I know when I do training and things like that, I'm thinking, I'm just training. And I know that I'm going to consciously think of, the more times I'm with you guys is start telling some more stories. And don't just try and like pump you up, get you up, get you fucking revved up. Come on. But no, hey, you know what? The truth is, if you've been in the if you've been working for us for 8 weeks and you're not doing what you need to do, or mate, in 12 weeks or 16 weeks, we're going to have a conversation. And maybe in 18 weeks, you're going to be looking for a new job. Like this, you know what I mean? There's that has just as much power as me saying, come on, make more calls, more, mate, where's your accountability? You know what? It's the ups and the downs and the roller coaster for us to get different lessons. And I think our listening presentations around those stories would make a massive difference. Yeah.
Huge difference. All the best agents tell good stories.
And then the last thing Josh went through is, it's a bit of a thing, and it was purpose, mission, values, strategy, tactics, and measurement. And I'll be spending more time with you. I just wanted to speak about high level about, you might think I just disappear for a few days, but I just want to get excited that there's so much cool stuff that we can be doing. I'm really excited to bring this stuff back. Hopefully there's little bits of gold just in this that, different people will get different things. But one thing that I'll be talking about, Jake, is, I think April around Easter, Place have just done a big auction campaign. I love what they're doing. I want us to do a big spring auction.
Mm-hmm.
I think that auction event that McGrath Parramatta do. So that's 3 big events, guys, I want to do. Northern Rivers might be on siders on Sundays, but, Mid North Coast will look to do in rooms, I think, just because of the accessibility, but depending on the office. I'm really looking forward to getting back with the team and look at individual tactics. What are we doing in each different office spaces? So, yeah, some amazing stuff. But like I said, and this is the biggest thing, if anyone ever puts me up on a stage, is that you sit down and you meet Jason, like Jason's on Selling Sunset, yeah? And even Mary came in, by the way. Mate, they're just normal people. And we're all just normal people. And whether it's Pete Knight or, I've got to really know Josh a heap better on this trip. But, all these people, they don't do a lot different, but they just little choices. Everyone is 10% away from achieving 40% more. It's all in the 10% more. And it's not necessarily more time. It's just more focus or more attention or a little bit more detail or a little bit more training. It's all so close to doing 30% more. And we've seen it inside our own group. It's not massive changes. It's just little changes. And I want everyone in here to know how possible it is, and I know, like, my no drinking for 5 months. And like, I never, and this is what I'm really proud of, guys. Like, I never thought, I've been on 2 big real estate conferences now. I didn't think I'd fit in. I didn't think I'd connect. I didn't think I'd make friendships if I wasn't Dave, the party boy on the piss. And I can tell you categorically, the relationships I've built on both CoreLogic and that, I've got core people that will not just help me, but now help our business. And it just shows you. And that's just one little change I've made in my life and the impact it's had, on me. So do you want to ask a couple of people what they got out of a few of these moments?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go through and see. Let's go with Batesy. What did you get out of this morning?
Hey, DG, and Jakey, mate, that was sensational. This half hour that you've just spoken has meant a lot to me personally as well. What I got out of it was performance zone and recovery zone. Really focus in on that. The other thing is build the people around you.
On that basis, you know what I got out of that? When you're on your phone on Instagram,
yeah,
that's all dopamine. So if you guys are on the couch at home watching Netflix, getting dopamine, and then eating a chocolate, getting more dopamine, having a glass of wine, more dopamine, and on your phone, dopamine, that's why we're all tired. Yeah. Because dopamine exhausts us. Even though it feels good, it exhausts us. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Also, build the people around you. So obviously, we've got young Jimmy with me, and we've got Loz. So, really focus on helping these guys grow as well. As you just said, mate, they're probably 10% away from producing 40% more. So
and Greg, we learn a different way. Like, we learn by getting bashed. All right. And I think we brought this leadership and this inspiring energy into our business because I've been so scared of that old way. And I don't want to bring that old way. I'm not saying bring that old way back, but some firm conversations with your team, some firm accountability, some clear targets, some clear capabilities, a clear accountability, an ideal week. Like some of that leadership, that management, I want back in the business because I believe it will get more results. I'm not saying we don't have, like, I want to fucking bring so much more fun back into our business in so many different ways. But I still believe you can have, all of that. We can have management and leadership. Yeah. And I'm excited about that,
Yeah. The other thing was, what's our experience, or what's the client's experience with dealing with my team, and that's probably something I've been thinking about over the last few weeks. And even last night, I was thinking about our after service care. What's that look like? It looks pretty poor at the moment. So I think there's a massive amount of opportunity in that after service care with the clients that I've dealt with.
I got some big ideas for our business that aren't going to happen immediately, Batesy, but yeah, like I've been dreaming a lot, and then you like my leadership, and I've been talking to a lot about my leadership because obviously now 15 officers, it's different to what it was before. And I'm not saying this arrogantly, but we are 1,000,000% on the right track of where we want to go, and I don't believe our competitors can keep up. So it won't happen overnight, and that's what I'm not going to rush it, because in the past I've rushed it. But around lifestyle group, lifestyle brand, lifestyle club, a concierge service, doing more, being more, providing more value, mate, look out. I'm fucking so fucking pumped.
And one last thing, mate, you've just inspired me in this last 30 minutes. So thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Don't say too much. It'll go to his head, Batesy.
I'm in fucking Hollywood.
For Leah, she's just written in, for her, the recovery time is very important, DG.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Brody, what did you get out of today?
I wrote down a shitload. The stuff that Batesy had said pretty much, but also the power of the team, work the team, utilize that. Not, it's all there right around us, and we're growing at a rapid rate of knots. So just bring that up in our stories and utilize it a bit more. I haven't been doing that as much as I should, but also what's the experience like working with us? I think that was that's pivotal.
Seems like that's a common theme throughout.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to just asking clients, whether that comes from above, a ring around to people going, hey, how did you go with Brody or something like that? I'd be open to that. That'd be good feedback. And also,
I totally agree, Brades. We can do that, but I think if we all had a look in the mirror and we thought about ourselves in the last month, I think most of us know what we did good and where we let it down. We know the people we should have called back that we haven't called back.
Yeah.
We know when we left an open a minute early. We know when we didn't do the callbacks on a Monday. And I think this is what I want. And I'm not saying this to bash yourselves. Like, it's just an honest chat, whether it's good or bad, or whether it's a 2 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. But just have some really good. And if you're a 2, don't expect to be an 8 next week. Just get to a 4, and the next week get to a 6. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. And then that, what I got out of that. Sorry, I'm so pumped. I've been working a bloody 1 o'clock over here every night. But is how good's your story about that, around the change, and how you worked for a family and came in and this happened and that happened and we've grown, and even in the dopamine. And what I learned out of telling a roller coaster is, if you just say it's all was amazing, it doesn't. Where if you tell the journey came in, I was a little bit nervous, and then this happened, and we went here, and then I thought we're at the end, and then you really, what you're telling them is you're in the middle roller coaster. I thought this was the high point. And then I got pushed a bit more, and I was a bit nervous, and then this changed. Then we bought another office, and bang, then I realized there was a new height. You're building that roller coaster. Yeah, cool. All right.
Let's finish it up. One last one. We'll go to Logan. What did you get out of today?
Yeah, a lot of it's already been said, but the 3 things that I wrote down was add that extra 10% and you'll see 40% results. You're on show all the time, so it's not just the old school salesman. You're only on when you're in an appointment. People see you in the streets. How do you present to the public? And just tell a story. How can you tell a story? It's not just presenting.
When I had that guy in front of me telling about stories, Logs, all I could think about was, and I give you shit for this, but me monotone mate Logs, and just how we can build that You know, like, mate, your work, and everyone should give Logan a clap, mate. Oh, he's got some amazing results lately from on the grind. So well done, Logan. I'm so proud of you, buddy. You know, you've gone out to Warhope with fuck all market share, and you just kept pushing. Really proud of you. But yeah, I reckon if we can work on your storytelling, you literally, that's your 10%, mate, and you'll go to the absolute next level. I've been learning about diversity. Let's get a female. Jakey.
All right, we'll go to Lisa Dixon.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Jake.
Hello. She's tougher than all the men. Can we get one of the girls?
Most of them are tougher than men, David. That's called diversity.
For me, it's self-assessment, just making sure that you're always looking at yourself. Checking yourself. I rely a lot on forming relationships. I really need to look at my appraisal technique, what I'm bringing to the table, all of that sort of thing. That's big for me. Recovery as well. I totally agree with the whole dopamine. Last weekend was a perfect example. Worked Saturday, got home about 3:30. Sunday, I could not relax. I was up and down, looking around to see what I could do. Monday, spent the day out with the family playing golf and doing stuff, and come back to work on Tuesday feeling exhausted. So I have to learn how to recover, definitely.
Cool. Okay.
So,
Awesome.
thank you, Lisa, and that's a good point.
Yeah, and let's go on that journey. And I think for all of us, and I want to bring it in, I've been mucking around with it for ages, but I think meditation is something that we absolutely need to bring into this business, because I think what happens is you get run down and tired. And if we all of it know this, like, if you're a little bit tired, we go for a chocolate. If we're a little bit tired, we go for that drink. If we're a little bit tired, we go back to internet. If we're a little bit tired, we don't make that effort to do that little bit of exercise. So yeah, I think, not to be too Gandhi on the whole team, but I know when I go overseas, it takes like nearly 2-3 days for me to get into the groove of being, not in the office. So I think we're all there. But but Lee sticks at self-reflection. I think it's also the vice versa, not just look in the mirror and look for the stuff we're not doing, but that's also high five ourselves when as we grow along the way too, and let's enjoy the wins. And I think it's around we set ourselves to get somewhere, and then we get there, and then we enjoy it, and then we reset a new goal. And I think that's what life's all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we wrap up, we're coming up to 9 DG. What's next for you?
I am so excited, like even more excited about the Lifestyle Group. I wrote Lee an email. She's been away, hasn't got back to me, but and I spoke to Jet Xavier yesterday. I said, this is the first time in a long time I've had fear around my decisions for the future. And let me explain this in for a sec. It's the first time I've thought, I actually don't know exactly where I'm going. However, these are not negative thoughts for me. These are actually really positive, because on the flip side, that's really excitement. Look, it's no secret, Elders, Lifestyle Group, different brands I've spoken to and things like that. I've got absolute clarity of where I want us to be in 2 years. I've got no idea exactly how I want to get there, but I've got 150% energy to get there. So this is a really beautiful time for our business. So don't be nervous around that, because it's what I'm saying is it's making me so inquisitive, so motivated, so pumped, so inspired to get that direction, how to do it, because there's so much I want to do. Like if I did it all, I can't do it all, or we can't do it all. Sorry, we can't do it all straight away. But it's going to be a really exciting time. Like, our business will not look the same in 2 years, not a chance. And I think openly I've been frustrated that I can't be, I'm not in the port office every day. I mean, I used to sit with fucking the boys, back in the day at PM, there's only 4 of us. There's now nearly 150 and 15 officers. And I got to speak to some really incredible CEOs. One CEO that went from 20 offices to 120. All right. But what I want to do is, my goal is to become responsible for nothing, but available to. But wait a second. but available to all of you.
Yeah, wow.
All right. So nothing on the job list. That means there's someone responsible for every part of the business. But then I'm 1,000,000% available to all of you. And I think that's where I've got to go move forward, because some of these crazy tours I do where I just pop in for an hour is just a complete waste of my time and your time. So it's about me acknowledging that the business is different. My role's different. However, I can offer so much more by me being different. So yeah. What'd you get out of that, Jakey? Let's make sure that landed.
No, I definitely got it. I think it is exciting for the business. It's exciting to see, you know, we're definitely on a growth phase. You know, and sometimes when you get back from these tours that you do, it's like, oh God, buckle up. But you seem quite centered. You seem
Yeah, I'll be spending more time on planning, more time with coaches, because I mean, in higher level, I want completely new fit outs for nearly all our offices. So it's a fit out, it's a look, it's a feel, it's a concept, it's things like concierge. So at the moment, guys, yeah, like the bandwagon of new offices is going to slow down. I'm not on a new I'm on a sharpen the sword, get the offices better, give you guys more. I'll give you more tools, give you more value, improve your branding, improve your marketing, improve your systems, improve your support. So yeah, I'm not on a like I want us to get to 20 offices in 5 years, you know, and we've done what 15 and a couple. It's not about more offices now. In the next 2 years, it's about making this business better. Yeah. And like, you know, 1 or 2 might pop along. I'm not saying that won't.
Here we go. I was waiting for that. This is being recorded. This is being recorded, so I can send it right back to you when we.
I'm in talks with one now, but that's different. It's a bit different.
Oh, it's different.
And, yeah, it's different. But it's more about sharpening the sword. Much more.
That's exciting, and it's exciting to be a part of. I think, you know, everyone is excited a part of the journey. We've got some amazing things that are coming, and this is going to be exciting as well.
And ask Taylor if it's any different with me being in LA.
No, it's not. If anything, it's worse.
So never think if I'm away, I'm not around, guys, because I'm, you know, there's going to be times where I'm actually going to start going away. Like I said, recovery time, where I do say, you know what, for 3 days, I'm not contactable. But, you know, lest I tell you that, you know, I'm 1,000,000%. Yeah. Poor Taylor's been getting
recovery time for us when you're not contactable.
She's been getting before work, after work.
That's not recovery time for you. That's recovery time for us.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me share my lessons, guys. I fucking miss you all so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice Friday.
I'm going to Ivan Brezic's tomorrow for 2 days. So I'll be even more pumped after that.
Fabulous. Can't wait.
See you guys. Bye.
See you all.
Bye.